Today for Devotions with Daniella, we are reading White Women Get Ready by Amanda K. Gross. How Healing Post-Traumatic Mistress Syndrome Leads to Anti-Racist Change. It's a book that I'm working on for my own practice of deconstructing the delusion of white supremacy. And if you would like to work on it along with me, you can get copies attached here. The Allure of Scarlett O'Hara. Unlike the frilly dresses, this history is not pretty to look at. Just as Glimpf's book was not an easy one to read. I don't want to be associated with the sadistic behavior Glimpf outlines so meticulously of Southern plantation women. I don't want to be implicated in the crimes of elite Southern plantation mistresses of 1844. Feelings of defensiveness are definitely making an appearance. So I've taken the time to create this handy checklist of why their legacy doesn't belong to me. I'm not elite, I'm working to middle class, depending on which side of my family you look at, how far back you go, and my personal marital status at the time. I'm not Southern, at least not in that way, as previously described. My direct ancestors stayed put above the Mason-Dixon line until 1956, and then moved to Appalachia. I'm not plantation. My ancestors worked their own farms and birthed plenty of their own children to help with the work. Mennonites. I'm not violent. Historically, what with the pacifist lineage and also according to my current beliefs. I was not alive in 1844. Yep, definitely born in 1983, which both my mother and birth certificate can confirm. Now that I've acknowledged my defensiveness, validated my values, and affirmed non-scarlet aspects of my identity, I can go a bit deeper. Despite my checklist, there was something undeniably attractive in Scarlett's story that drew my 7-year-old self to Gone with the Wind and resonated beyond the pretty dresses. Glimpf calls the plantation mistress one of the most powerful and influential icons of womanhood in American history. There have been other powerful and influential ideals of American womanhood, but arguably none as coveted and admired. And in all honesty, I did admire Scarlett. I admired her ease of access to wealth, as symbolized by the pretty dresses and humans attending to her every need. I admired her idealized beauty, her power to attract suitors, sway her father, and get what she needed from white men, at least most of the time. I identified with her rebellious spirit, resourcefulness, and wit that made the expected life of good plantation wife unappealing to her, just as I felt unimpressed with the gendered roles presented to me of good Christian wife and mother. I gravitated toward her dramatic expression, which set her apart from all the other boring white girls. The iconic plantation mistress images that were planted in my imagination helped construct my own identity into white womanhood. Scarlett's tragic victimhood in the face of white patriarchy suggested that I too could hide both my agency and complicity beneath a mantle of gendered victimhood, a key strategy for staying in relationship with white masculinity. Scarlett's melodramatic martyrdom also points to a narrative that has played out in contemporary white feminism, encouraging white women to over-identify with the experiences of women of color, because we have all been gendered women. Or, as Glimpf puts it when challenging historians' standard view of the plantation mistress, here were hardworking women so handicapped by patriarchy and paternalism that their lives more closely resembled those of enslaved women than the white men who were their fathers, husbands, and brothers. Here were women who found in their own subjugation the basis for an alliance with enslaved women. Slaves rarely thought this. Just as Black women today rarely see our experiences as equivalent, white women's over-identification with women of color happens because we under-identify with whiteness. As per my checklist, we can defend ourselves as not Scarlet, not Southern, and not racist. Yet, the legacy of the plantation mistress doesn't only belong to elite Southern white women. It belongs to all of us who can access whiteness. Whether or not we are Southern in that way, we can inflict a lot of harm when we don't realize how our identity is connected to the legacy of the plantation mistress.